It's getting serious.
We're live.
Well, good evening and welcome to the 14th annual State of the City, sponsored by the Historical Society of University City. I'm Eleanor Mullen, president of our society. We hold this event in March to celebrate the birth of our founder, E.G. Lewis, born on March 4th, 1869. And for the first time, we've never needed it, but I'm going to pretend I'm at a movie theater. Would you please silence your cell phones? Okay, so we don't have that going on. This year has been a productive and peaceful one for the Historical Society. Our intrepid vice president, Eric Kuzniarkowicz, worked tirelessly with Fire Department Chief Hinson and discovered that our searchlight actually works. It needs some maintenance and some minor repairs, and Eric is working on getting that accomplished and coordinating with various groups, okay? But this is very exciting, and we do hope to plan an event using it in the future. There are two mosaics that we preserved when the Delmar or the Harvard, Esley, which was it? Which building got torn down? Delmar. I was right. When the Delmar building was torn down, now that building was built around 1910, and these mosaics were by a very famous mosaic artist at the time, Henry Mercer. They are huge, 8-foot square. They weigh, we think, about 1,000,000 pounds. They're extremely heavy. And Eric and I communicated with various museums to find them a new home because they're currently sitting outside at our Pennsylvania site near the old community center, although they are boxed. But the result is honestly the best case scenario. Our school district has agreed to take them. Superintendent Sharonica Hardin Bartley has not yet decided where they'll be displayed, but we're glad that they're leaving one of our schools and going to one of our schools. Our Century Plaque program continues to grow under the leadership of Liz Bell. Almost 200 homes display our plaque. And the 1920s were a boom building time in University City, so we expect that number to grow rapidly. We have a new editor for our newsletter, as David Lindsay, editor for 16 years, has retired from our board. Adeline Landers, who is a journalism student at University City High School, happily accepted the position under the supervision of journalism teacher Olivia Steele. Her first edition went out last month. It was great. It was fresh. It was new. Everyone was appreciative of it. And we are also very pleased to state that Ms. Steele has accepted a seat on the Historical Society board. So that sums up our 2024 highlights. At this time, I'd like to thank two gentlemen who I call my auxiliary board members, my husband, TJ Mullen, and board member Barbara Stulak's husband, George, who tirelessly fetch and carry and help us set up and break down any of our events. I'd also like to thank the many University City officials who are here, and I hope I don't forget anybody. We have council people, just do that, John Tiemann, Dennis Fuller, Steve McMahon, Wayne Smotherson, and Lisa Brenner. I'm very appreciative that you all came tonight. I would like any of my board members here to stand at this moment and be recognized. Really, their hard work and devotion. Their hard work and devotion to the history of our city makes me, and I trust all of our city, proud. And now to the main event. Honestly, I feel like I'm living in UCity 2.0. So many positive, exciting things are going on, and we got through the year without a flood. So I think we're all appreciative of that. No, I'm not going to mention the ice. So I want to thank everybody for being here, and we hope you can stay after the presentation for refreshments and socializing. And it's now my pleasure to turn the evening over to the two gentlemen who so ably run our city, Mayor Terry Crow and City Manager Gregory Rose. Thank you.
Is this a microphone? Okay. That tells you how much I know about new technology, right? Well, let me start out by thanking Ms. Mullen and the entire Historical Society for doing such tremendous work to preserve our history and for coordinating this event each year. It has been a wonderful day, a beautiful day to celebrate a birthday. And so, none of this would have occurred without our founder, E.G. Lewis. I want to also recognize perhaps one of the most unsung heroes for our organization, John Mulligan, who is our city attorney. So all of these things that you see happening, you notice we haven't gotten sued, well, at least successfully. Much of that is due to the work of John Mulligan and the people that he brings on board with him. So I just want to recognize and tell him thank you and how much he is truly appreciated. When my wife and I moved to University City in 1997, shortly afterwards, we purchased a small home at 1062 Colby in the 3rd Ward, Rothgrove neighborhood. It was our first home, and I still have pictures of us pushing our 2-year-old daughter in a swing and sledding with her in the snow. To ever become an assistant city manager for University City, Missouri, and return as the city manager was an unlikely path for me because I grew up under the crushing weight of poverty. But I was fortunate to have parents who wanted a better life for me. So they encouraged all of their children to bear down and focus on getting an education. They knew then what I know now. Poverty does not let you out. The only way out is to escape. So if I wanted to play sports, I had to keep my grades up, and a C just did not cut it. I couldn't get in trouble because a degree does you no good in prison. And if I played with my friends on Saturday and stayed out late, I had the privilege of going to church on Sunday. And if I failed at any of these things, my mother and father were quite the motivators. But because of their tough love and a lot of hard work, I stand before you today. And I am sure there are dozens of ways to escape poverty, but the path that I know for certain that can lead to a better life runs through our schools and universities. And I firmly believe that our children are smart, talented, and capable of reaching great heights. So it's up to us to focus more on how we can provide the children of our community with a high quality education at all levels. To this end, we continue to look for ways to partner with the University City School District in their efforts to educate our sons and daughters. One way that I believe we're helping our school district is by improving the environment from which so many of their students live. The 3rd Ward will always be special to me. And I am so pleased the mayor and council committed additional funding to create the U City 3rd Ward strategic plan so we can start revitalizing this area. Once the vision for the 3rd Ward is realized, you will have restaurants where you can walk to from home, improved parks, streets, and housing. And it will have fewer rentals and more homeowners. In addition to hiring a 3rd Ward revitalization coordinator, I intend to recommend the mayor and council authorize contracting with SHED to provide a host of services to seniors and the disabled. These services will span from mowing lawns to home improvement. I'll also keep recommending that we keep our residents safe and make them feel safe by using innovative technology to protect them and aggressively pursuing abandoned and hazardous homes. When you improve the third ward, you improve University City. I want to commend Deputy City Manager Brooke Sharp for working with the mayor and council's Housing and Third Ward Task Force Revitalization to create a strategic plan for improving this community. I want each of you to take a few seconds and just to think about the University City that you would like to see in 25 years. What does Olive Boulevard look like? What does Delmar look like? Are we a sustainable community? And has the loop been reimagined and transformed? These are a few of the questions that our mayor and council staff and many other community stakeholders ask each day. In recent years, we have taken many steps toward achieving our vision. We returned ambulance transport services. We strengthened our financial position by increasing general fund reserves. We secured funding to improve the third ward by partnering with the private sector for the development of Market at Olive, improved our parks, reduced crime and the fear of crime, improved streets, and found a home for our police and our court operations. Our organization mission remains steadfast to provide high-quality services, vibrant shopping and opportunities, recreational spaces and programs, and a safe and welcoming home. As we reflect on 2024, I am proud of the strides our city has made to achieve the priorities established by our community through the mayor and council. What was made clear in 2024 is that University City is a city on the move and open for business. The vision for University City cannot be achieved by one person acting alone. It takes a team. I want to recognize some of the department's contributions. A city will not be able to achieve its strategic objectives unless it is in the financial position to do so. The state of our financial position remains strong. At the end of 2024, according to the audit, our general fund reserves were at 42% of expenses. The general fund is the account from which most of our city services are funded. The high balance is necessary because many of the revenues that fund city services, such as sales taxes, grants, development fees, are very volatile. If you have a disaster occur in the future, like COVID-19, the historic flood, there are funds available to continue to operate until we can make adjustments to our budget. A second reason for the high fund balance is the two major construction projects that are underway today. And some of you, when you were trying to park, were impacted by those projects. Should these projects go over budget, there are monies available to cover any shortfall without the need to borrow additional funds. The mayor and council recently received an annual audit of how we spent the funds authorized in the FY 2024 annual operating budget, and it is on the website for all to see. I want to commend Finance Director Keith Cole and his staff for the great job that they do in keeping our cities financially sound. Most people want to live in a community that has great parks and wonderful recreational opportunities. If you have not participated in bingo, which is offered at Centennial Commons, you should. It is a wonderful experience for our seniors. When you visit, don't slow down the game. I learned the hard way that the seniors are not so forgiving. But bingo is far from the only program that you can find provided through our recreation division. If you have school age children, you should consider placing them in our revamped summer camp program. The mayor and council imagined our summer camp program and turned it into an enrichment program. This summer, the children participating in the summer camp will visit museums, improve their math skills, learn about science and technology, learn how to play tennis, and be involved in many other activities that will provide a rich experience and allow them to play and learn. And with the help of our school district, I hope we can continue to grow and improve this program. I know that during Mayor Crow's presentation, he will talk in greater detail about those two areas. We have a unique structure in University City where public area maintenance is under the Director of Parks and Recreation. We have made some changes to how we plow snow by using smaller trucks that can maneuver our neighborhood streets, dispensing de-icing materials, and driving larger trucks on our arterial streets. During the second significant snow, that we were able to deploy this new strategy and had good results. I want to commend Parks, Recreation, and Public Area Maintenance Director Darren Girdler and his entire staff for their unwavering commitment to provide you with high-quality services and for their willingness to brave treacherous streets when everyone else is trying to stay off. We have a stellar fire department that is led by Fire Chief Henson and provides the highest level of services to our residents. In 2024, we were able to secure $1.8 million in funding for a new ladder truck, thanks to the subtext development. I know I speak on behalf of our mayor and council and want to publicly thank Ryan Bum and Mitchell Corte for their help in securing funding for this important and expensive piece of equipment. This new ladder truck will enable our paramedic firefighters, if necessary, to suppress fires in multi-story buildings in University City and save lives. Did you know that fire responded to more than 6,500 calls in 2024, which included fire and medical emergency services? Chief Henson and his staff are simply outstanding and are to be commended for the services that they provide. Violent crime remains a challenge for many of the cities within our metropolitan area. University City, however, experienced continued reduction in violent crime under the exemplary leadership of Police Chief Hampton. From 2019 to 2024, violent crime in our city fell by more than 45%. Chief Hampton and his team deserve our appreciation and commendation. Make no mistake that policing is a very dangerous job. And I so much admire the willingness of those individuals that are willing to sacrifice their lives for the safety of others. University City would not be the city today we are without the dedication of our current and former Angels of Peace. A special recognition is due to those police officers that have lost their lives while protecting citizens in our community. I want to take this time to recognize their end of watch. Police Officer Wilbert Downey, December 12th, 1969. Detective James Bovenlow, January 23rd, 1970. Patrolman Francis Graham, February 22nd, 1976. And Sergeant Mike King, October the 31st, 2008. Not only did these individuals lose their lives, but their families lost their husband, father, son, brother. We should never forget their sacrifice. I intend to recommend that our mayor and council create a memorial wall within the new police headquarters for our fallen heroes and, God forbid, sheroes, so their services and sacrifice are remembered throughout the ages. May God bless their souls and their families. The Planning and Zoning Department was extremely busy in 2024, working with the Planning and Zoning Commission to update the city's comprehensive plan. Many of you may have taken part in one of the outreach opportunities to provide input into the direction of our city. A great city is built on having a clear vision and strong planning. In 2022, the mayor and council adopted Vision 2040. And in 2024, they approved the updated comprehensive plan. In addition to working to update the comprehensive plan, the department staff processed numerous building permits, zoning applications, and requests for inspections. Planning and Zoning Director, Dr. John Wagner, and his staff are to be congratulated for their accomplishments. Did you know that on average, in the United States, about 4.9 pounds of trash is dispensed every day from individuals? Each individual dispenses about 4.9 pounds of trash. When you place your trash can and recycling can at the curb, it is our men and women who collects them. I'm sure that you can imagine how difficult of a task that was, with 6 inches of ice and snow on the ground. I want to commend Public Works Director, Interim Public Works Director, Marilla Kalich, and Acting Solid Waste Superintendent, John Houston, for their hard work up under very difficult circumstances. Without a strong internal system that ensures our employees are compensated fairly and treated properly, our operations break down. In many ways, it is due to the work of Interim Deputy City Manager Amy Williams and her staff that our employees are willing to serve the residents of our community. I want to commend Amy and her staff for their service. In closing, I want to state clearly what continues to motivate me to service, in part, is that speech that President Lyndon Baines Johnson gave to a group of University of Michigan students in Ann Arbor on a very warm and windy day in May of 1964. President Johnson challenged us as a nation to aspire to push upward towards a great society. A society where every male and female, Jew and Gentile, Black and white, are judged by the content of their character. The president was clear that before we can become a great society, we must have great cities. That is why I am here, and that is what I am deeply committed to achieving as a city manager. Thank you. I call this next speaker my friend, the leader of our community, and just an all-around good person. When I talk with my colleagues now, other city managers, they ask me, what happened? University city politics are so boring now. And I'm not sure how to take that, but I know exactly who to credit it to. I am so honored to introduce to you the featured speaker for tonight, our mayor and leader of our community, Honorable Terry Crow.
Well, I think we'd all have to agree that we'll take boring any day of the week. For those of you who have your watches out, if I go more than 1 hour and 40 minutes, you know, we got a little bit of a problem. For those of you who didn't get that line, you have to turn on CNN or something and figure that one out. To Eleanor, to everyone within the Historical Society, thank you so much for continuing on this tradition. I'm batting 500, right? I've done half of them. This is my 7th one, I think. So grateful to be here. And to all of my colleagues that Eleanor introduced, thank you so much for being with us as well. Gregory, I do like the fact that we are boring. And I would say one thing, and this is, if you think about this, by the way, almost everything I say is kind of off script, but if you look at the elections we had yesterday in St. Louis, where you're going to have a heck of a battle, and you did already, and then you look at what happens in Clayton at our county center without a city manager professional form of government, you really have to kind of struggle with it. And we recognize that we've had our challenges as well. But I'll take whoever on this wall came up with that idea. I'll go to the bank with that one because it seems to be working. And we're in such great hands with Gregory and his department directors, and frankly, all the folks that we have working within our city. But before I get to all the highlights, I want to take just a moment and say a name that some of you may recognize, but probably most of you don't. And that is Xander Langley. He is a 6-year-old resident of University City who I believe lives on Amherst. And he was the young man who, when the candle started burning in their home, his mother was in the shower. He had a choice of either, as he said, to sit down and cry or to do what my parents told me, and that was go tell somebody. And he went and told somebody, and he saved his family all over the news. His family lost an awful lot of their belongings, but it's pretty cool to have a 6-year-old know exactly what to do when that situation occurs. Now we're going to go the other way. We went from a 6-year-old. Now we're going to increase the number just a little bit to, I think we'll go to 105. And we will go to Mrs. Pearl Shelton. She is a 30-year resident of University City. She was born in 1920. Moved to St. Louis in 1950, opened her own hair salon called the Newstead Beauty Bazaar in 1954, and has been a proud member of the Rose Hill Baptist Church for 55 years. Her family had come to us and asked us to do a resolution for her. And last week on Channel 5 News, they had our resolution and her telling the story of her life. So it's very cool. 105 years old. Absolutely amazing to me. I also want to take just a moment and congratulate our former colleague, Jeff Hales, who sat on the council for some time and is now a member of the Missouri House of Representatives. I think he'd rather be here tonight than in Jefferson City, but we congratulate him. And as most of you know, when he was elevated to the House, that then opened up a seat where we followed the procedures we have within our council rules. We had 5 people apply for the council seat. We had 5 wonderful people, by the way, apply. And we then got all of their dossier information. We did a Q&A session here in the council chamber. And then we voted to seat Dr. Lisa Brenner as the new member of council, and she will serve in that capacity until the next election cycle comes up. So to Lisa, congratulations as well. And on a sad note, I think for all of us here, I would be remiss if I did not say on behalf of all of us, we pass our condolences on to the family of Ewald Winker, an employee who came to University City in 1977. Employee of the Year in 2007. And to the best of my knowledge, someone's got to find a group where he said no to them. Because every time someone asked him to do something, can you get this for us? Can you do that for us? Will you do this? It was always yes. Always a pleasant smile on his face, a very dedicated worker. And we give our heartfelt thanks to his family for sharing him with us. And we pass our condolences on to them. His services, I believe, are this Saturday in Eureka. So now let's move forward to some of the things that Gregory left some pitches out there for me to hit. Let's go to the markets at Ollie, because I really do love to talk about the markets at Ollie. We kind of just call it Costco. And Costco, I think you folks all know that every single piece of land has been sold. Every piece, which is phenomenal. The last piece that was taken down was by Deerbergs. You know, Deerbergs was kind of a finicky fiance for a really long time. They came to the altar, stepped away, came to the altar, stepped away. Target, as you all know, is well under construction. Deerbergs is next. Deerberg's site is the old Buyers Lumber site on the south side. They probably have a little bit more land than they need, so likely after their store is up, there's a high likelihood they'll probably do an outbuilding on it. So there may be a little bit more construction over there. But as I say that to you, I want to give you just a little bit of some numbers. And there's always going to be a margin of error. But prior to the development being started, that 52-acre site, which got smaller over time, but around 52 acres, just in sales tax at that time, before the development ever started, developed about $95,000 in sales tax. So there's always a little bit of a lag in how we get a sales tax was reported to us because they go from the point of sale to the state, to the county, back to us. After Costco came up, the first year of Costco's taxes, not the development, Costco's sales taxes was $1.2 million. Just Costco. More than 10 times the sales tax ever before. You still have Chick-fil-A, Cane's, Starbucks, Seven Brew, First Watch, Deerbergs, and Target. So that number is going to be at least 20 times the sales tax revenue, which is absolutely amazing. And as you probably have already heard, the Costco has been so successful that they're actually putting in another one not too far. Well, they put the one in St. John, which is a totally different story, but they're actually putting another one in St. Louis because of the reception of ours here in U City, which is, again, we really do just take great pride in the success of that project. So now let's turn to the loop. Let's go to our challenges a little bit. You see what we've got going on. If you go over to the old Commerce Bank and the St. Louis Bread Company site, you'll now see that that is now completely under construction. It's taken a good chunk of our parking. There are 259 apartments going into that site. We got to do the groundbreaking just a couple of months ago. And as Gregory mentioned to you, I mean, I really do hope that this resonates with you. The developer put in $1.8 million before the project began to help us pay for a new fire engine. That's $1.8 million that you and I do not have to come up with. And to me, that is absolutely phenomenal. And I do think with the loop clearly has its challenges. And the loop is probably one of those areas where we are going to simply need to put more people. Because the idea of shopping and even of going out to restaurants changed during COVID. Our businesses in the loop continue to struggle. You used to go to Fitz's, put your name in, walk down the street, look at the stores, come back, and you'd go out to eat. And that's just not the way it works anymore. So I do think we're going to continue to look at what we need to be doing in the loop to probably, I'd say probably change its direction. We're not going to do this blindly. We'd like to take our time. We'd like to meet with all the owners, both the businesses and the landowners. We'd like to bring someone in to help us think through this thing. But really, it is time for us to take a hard look at the loop and see what we need to do next. If you haven't seen, by the way, one of the newest businesses, and I know I'm going to butcher this with my Farber, Missouri accent. Tous les jours. Am I close? Am I close? Not at all. Sorry. Tous les jours. And it is a French Korean bakery. And it is, I drive by all the time. It's got a line out the door every time I go by. Absolutely, absolutely amazing. And you've probably wondered a little bit, those of you who are more in tune in University City things, the True Hotel, which is on the old Del Mar Harvard site, they actually intend to break ground in the next 2 months. That one has taken an awful lot longer to get out of the ground. We recognize that, but it is coming out of the ground. So we'll see what happens next in the loop, but we also, by the way, I'll tell you candidly to all of you, we welcome your input. And when Gregory is talking about the planning department, I want to make sure I come back to the citizens. There is no commission in University City that has worked harder than planning and zoning. From Costco all the way through to everything else. Those folks have had meeting after meeting, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. And the members of that commission, to the best of my knowledge, at least never to me, ever complained once. Very proud of the work that they did. Now let's take just a minute on a couple of cool things in University City. I don't know how many of you people are involved in U City and Bloom, but I have a feeling a fair number of you are. I would like to say congratulations, 40th anniversary for U City and Bloom. Unbelievable. We get more compliments about how our intersections and our streets and our parks look because of U City and Bloom and all those beautiful flowers. So to all of you folks who help with U City and Bloom, thank you very much. I also had the opportunity a few months ago to do the ribbon cutting at Urban Sprouts. Urban Sprouts is at 6757 Olive. And if you have not been there, you need to go. Urban Sprouts is an early childhood learning center. And I will give Alicia Lanier, the creator, founder, and the powerhouse behind it, kudo after kudo after kudo. She went out and found in one foundation gift, $5 million to help revitalize that entire corner from tear downs to build ups to rehabs. You've really got to go see this fabulous facility, which, by the way, has your kids from 6 weeks until kindergarten, and 70% of the children live in families that are affected by poverty. 70%. And do you know how many families are on their waiting list right now? 600. So if you get a chance to look, I mean, really, I like the vision because you don't normally say that a nonprofit is going to jumpstart part of a neighborhood, but you really ought to go take a look at this. It's really extremely impressive. And Gregory touched upon our summer camp. You know, our summer camp sort of went away during COVID and the flood. I mean, it went away. And now it is back. The first time the staff came back to us, I want to thank them very much for coming up with that first draft. We liked it, but what we didn't like was we didn't like the cost to the families with the kids. It was probably market rate, but we did not think that it was appropriate for our families to pay that because we didn't think a lot of them would be able to. So we asked them to go back. And then Gregory said we enhanced it. Yes, we did. I give the Parks Department incredible credit for going to SLU and having them come up with a STEM portion of our project so the kids have an enhanced educational opportunity while they're in summer camp. The camp is going to cost us in total about $127,000. Of that, the city will pick up $87,000. We decided it was important to get our kids back in, to do something right for the community and let everybody get back into Centennial Commons. So to the staff, I want to say thank you for making that happen. And Gregory touched upon bingos for seniors. Okay, so if you have not called bingo for these folks, you got to go do it. They really don't mess around. It was a ton of fun. The next one is on March 27th, and the next one is April 24th. It is now over in the community center, right? So really, lunch is at 11, bingo is at noon. I think the cost is $5. $5. So get out and get your bingo going. Next thing, which happens, I believe, next week for those of you who have kids in University City schools, I really do appreciate the relationship that we have with our schools. Between the school board president and the superintendent, and Gregory and I get together once a quarter. At one of our last meetings, the superintendent asked a favor and asked if I would help raise some money for a project they have, like similar to Junior Achievement with a U City twist. And this was called Show Me the World. And we have a group of students at University City High School who are learning the coffee business, from the planting of the plants all the way through to the coffee maker in your house. And they are leaving next week for their first trip to Costa Rica to truly see the plants. And I'm very humbled that when I asked our community to raise $35,000 in next to no time, we had it raised in 10 days. Really very. And by the way, the folks out at the Costco development were incredible. The folks in the Loop, absolutely, just across the board, the folks who helped. And then we happened to have a nice party to celebrate. And we had so many people, 150 people at the event, which was just simply incredible. Gregory touched upon our finances as well. And, you know, you may not know this, but I have an accounting degree. And it warms my heart that we had an unqualified opinion yet again. And in the auditing world, that's as good as it gets, an unqualified opinion. And that is just phenomenal. We had another year of a budget surplus. And our goal for our cash reserves is, I think, 17%, and we're at 46. But by the way, that 46 is there really for a reason. The 46 is there primarily for a reason. We talked about the ebbs and flows, but we've got a building to rehab over here for our police department. And we are one of the few communities right now who can use our existing cash balances and our cash flow to fund a $20 million police station in a historic building. And I do credit all of you. I think, I hope and pray that when this is done, that we are proud of a brand new police station inside of a historic building. And if we can do it all with cash flow, no bond issue, I think that is an incredible feat for our community. And I do, as always, want to join Gregory in thanking all the folks who keep our city working, in particular our police force and our fire department. You know, 2/3 of our budget is public safety, period, every single time. So you got to make sure you thank those folks. Now we're going to go to the good and the bad. The good and the bad. We recognized some time ago that our trash and waste fees were not meeting our cost. Sorry to all of you, but they were not. So we brought together each member of council, got to appoint a person to a task force. We had Phil Easton, who be our chair, who got this thing done in, I think, 3 months, studying through the numbers and coming up with a solution. So yes, you will see an increase in your trash bill. Yes, you will. And then the increase will be based on the rate of inflation going forward. We needed to do that, and it's been a long time since it's been done, but it's happening. Now, the only good thing I can say about that is that you will no longer have to have stickers for your leaf bags. So, you know, I hate those telephone calls and I hate those emails almost as much as I do when someone is complaining to me about their street not getting clean after a snow or ice storm. You know, that last one we had, by the way, that was horrible across the board, by the way, literally for everybody. So I recognize everyone's frustration with that, including our city employees who work so hard. That was a triple play all in one day. Absolutely amazing. And I know that, I think it was Eleanor that already introduced everybody, but really, I would say it is a true honor and pleasure to get to serve with Steve McMahon, Dennis Fuller, John Tiemann, Mayor Pro Tem Smotherson, and Lisa Brenner. Thank you for being here. We have a quorum. It's kind of nice. And we haven't had this many people in this room in a really long time. This may be one of the better attendances for, I think, the whole thing. So we're smoking tonight. Not too bad. And I'm not at an hour and 40 minutes. So next thing I want to talk about briefly, and I'm winding down, is Seafood City. Seafood City. Seafood City is 17 acres. And for a while, it smelled. It smelled. And once we got on it, it cost us $320,000, give or take, to clean it out. Had a little hitch in our get along getting the owner of the building to pay for it. We let them know we were serious about them paying for it, and they wrote us a check. And by the way, I have no ill intentions towards the people who own this building. They live out in Los Angeles. You know what? But we're simply part of a portfolio for them. But it is not part of a portfolio for us. It is time for us to get far more serious about developing the 17 acres that are known as Seafood City. It's sitting right there in the middle. I think we need to take a look at it. I think we need to see what our options are. And I'm just throwing that out there because I'm tired of looking at it. I taught both kids how to drive in that parking lot. Both of my kids. And now they're one's 24 and one's 21. So there's got to be a better use for that. The next thing I want to talk about are a few needs, some things I need from you or some things that we may need from other people. Number one, even though crime is way down, I will tell you we always need more police officers. We recognize that that is a career right now that is not necessarily one that everybody's looking forward to going into. We're not having as many folks come to us to become a police officer, so Gregory and the police chief are working on ways to use technology as much as we can. But we really would love to fill some of the vacancies in our police department. I also want to talk just briefly about my friends at WashU. I doubt you guys read the student newspaper at WashU, but I had a nice interview with the student newspaper the other day. And it's one of those things where you got to say, I love WashU. They're a good friend. They're a neighbor, but I'd like them to do more for our community. They know how I feel. I know how they feel. So we've got that. We know that. We know that. We also know, as I think most of you know, that they're now the largest landowner in the Loop. And we're the largest landowners, if not the largest landowner in University City in total. We understand that. And by the way, they know it too. I would ask them to consider, I would love for them to consider pilots, but that may be reaching for a star that I can't get. I would even like an increase in the amount of money we receive every year. It's been a long time since even that amount has been adjusted. You just, to me, this is one of these things that all I ask is, let's do what's right. Let's just do what's right. Next thing, this one does involve you folks. We are going to try this year to look at combining and or eliminating some of our commissions because we've got a lot of commissions in the University City way, a lot. And it's probably time for some of them to go away. And a lot of you people do not want to serve on them. So I'm just throwing that right back at you. If some of you would like to serve, it would help me out immensely. We have a lot of vacancies. Most of them only meet 3 or 4 times a year. Now, planning and zoning, that one does the lifting. That one you may not want to step up to. But the rest of them, really seriously, it would help us immensely. When we joke about the fact that this room is vacant most of the time for a city council meeting, that's sort of a joke, and it's sort of an issue, and it's a reality. But things are running pretty smooth, but we would love for you to help us out just a little bit. You don't have to come and protest in City Hall or anything like that. All you've got to do is be a member of Arts and Letters, be a member of the Civil Service Board, be a member of the Park Commission. Anybody, please. We would love to have, truly love to have your help. One of the things I thought of as I was thinking about to make my remarks tonight is, what are the things that probably concern me the most? And it's kind of interesting because we, all of us could go through a litany of things that U City has addressed over the past 30, 40 years. But I would say that, I moved here in 1994. And when I moved here, I had a real estate agent named Helene Isaacs, who I still love to this day. And I said, Helene, here I am. I've got this wonderful job, great job. And I want to live in a wonderful place. I'm an openly gay man. Where am I going to feel welcome? University City. That is the community that we are. Our values, we hold close to our heart. And it worries me. We have always been and continue to be such a welcoming and diverse community, diverse in so many different ways. And I am here to tell you that my biggest concern for our community is not within our community. It's from Jefferson City in Washington, D.C. It scares the hell out of me. We have grant monies that we are waiting on for flood relief. We have grant monies that we're waiting on for a detention basin to help prevent a flood. We have grant monies that are supposed to put electronic chargers in the Loop. And we don't know if we're going to get them. And if you say the wrong thing, it may be gone. So to all of you, we are always cautious as to how we speak, but we hold our values dear. This is a wonderful place to live. And every one of you in this room makes it a very special place. And I would be remiss tonight if I didn't say that one person I haven't thanked is Laurette Reese, who is in the back, our city clerk. She, in my mind, just like Ewald Winkler, if you can find one time when Laurette has told you no, let me know, because she is here late in the evening almost every night. She works tirelessly. She notarizes more things for more people than I think anybody in 63130 that we know, and so professional in her job. And that professionalism, by the way, goes through the entire staff of our city. We are incredibly fortunate. And you folks, I want to end with you. You make this an incredible place to live. Thank you for having us tonight. And we look forward to answering any questions that you have. The hard ones go to Gregory, the fun ones I get. So thank you.
I honestly think people who aren't here are just crazy because what you find out about our city at this meeting, concise, covers the waters. It's just wonderful. And I know we all appreciate not only what these two men said, but the time they took from their schedules, which are busy, to write these speeches. So my hat's off to both of you. I've lived in U City my entire life, as has my husband, and it is a fabulous place to live, and we're going to keep it that way and make it better. I'm happy you've all been here, and now please join us for refreshments and socialize and ask them questions. Thanks for being here.